So here at the sewing studio, everyone knows how much I really enjoy making my own bags and totes, and oftentimes those involve all kinds of zippers on the top and on the side, just pretty much everywhere. And so today I thought I would share a couple of tips and tricks on how I get all of my zippers to look so professional. When it comes to zippers, there's two things that'll help you make your projects just look so much more professional. And one is getting your zipper tab on the zipper tape. And then the other piece of that is how do we keep a straight seam and make our zippers look so nice in our projects. And I'm gonna show you both those concepts. So let's take a look at the pieces that I'm gonna show you today. We have today a couple of pieces that I've prepped. I like to use Bossel double-sided fusible in my bags. That way our pieces are fused onto that and I have a nice sandwich. This is one way that we use it. Oftentimes in the By Annie projects, they're using Soft and Stable, and I like to use the Bossel in our foam, which is a double-sided fusible instead. So this is a specific type of project that we're using these in, but it's in a lot of things, so I thought I'd use it today to show you. I have a nylon zipper, and this one is a double slide, and I can show you how I make sure and line that piece up, because sometimes we're notorious for just taking it right off the end of our zipper tape, and then you're lost at how to get it back on. So I'm going to show you that piece of it today. Another thing that we'll need is a pair of scissors that's not our good fabric scissors and snips really good at the end. That way, when we cut our zipper tape, I can show you how to realign that. First up, let's take a look at how to put a zipper tab back on our zipper tape. With these nylon zippers, one thing I want you to watch out for is the metal stop. Oftentimes, I will cut the metal stop off so that when I am in the actual project, I don't accidentally come over this with a seam allowance. So we're just going to take our scissors and cut through that. I can do that on this zipper because it's a nylon zipper. This is not a metal zipper. These techniques are not used for metal zippers. So just know that about the type of zipper tape that I'm using. I think this is one of the things that scares people the most, is when we actually pull our zipper tape right off the end of our zipper. So if that's ever happened to you, you're always struggling with how to get the zipper tab back on our tape. So let me show you a quick tip. It's very hard to take a zipper tab and reattach it to the ends of our zipper tape. So one thing that makes it a lot easier for me is if I take and cut out 3 or 4 teeth on one side of our zipper tape. You don't want to cut all the way across, we're just going to cut out the little teeth. Now you can see I have a little indentation on this side of the tape, and it's complete on the other end. That allows me to take my zipper tab and slide it on the one side of the zipper tape. I was struggling a little bit to get this zipper to pull on when it's so smooth for me normally. So what happened was one of my zipper teeth had a little bit of a hang on it, and so I went in and cut the tooth out a little more cleanly. We're going to slide our zipper tab onto the zipper tape, making sure that we keep the zipper tape in alignment on the back side. And then we can pull it up just a little bit, and you want to make sure that when you connect it to the zipper tab on the other side of the tape, that the back end is in alignment. It's so tiny, it's hard to show you. And then you're just going to pull it right on. And then that way, you'll be able to put our zipper tab back on and use this in your project. Oftentimes too, if you buy zipper tape by the yard, you get a bunch of zipper tabs that you have to put on, and this works so nice in each one of those situations. So that's one of my tips for using our zippers. Now let's take a look at actually sewing a zipper into a project and how I keep those seams nice and straight and looking professional. Before you cut a zipper tape down to size for your project, we need to make sure that that little indent that we cut out is definitely outside of our project. If it's within our project, sometimes your zipper can actually slide off of this piece and make it really difficult. As long as we have it outside our project, then we'll have a finished zipper at the edge of our project. So I like to have it about 1 inch longer on either side. Also, make sure that you take your zipper tab and you move it within your project. Otherwise, you'll be sliding it back on again. So I'm just going to take and cut our zipper tape a little bit longer than our project. And now what we can do is take our zipper tab and actually bring it out here on the end, making sure not to pull it fully off of our zipper tape, and lay that with our project. It keeps it out of my way, so I don't have to worry about lifting my needle in the middle of my strip or moving it around it or anything like that. So that's also why I like it to be a little bit longer. I can sew my zipper here in place, and when I get that piece completed, then I will trim the zipper to the width of the project that I'm working on. I'm going to take it over to the sewing machine and show you how I use my J-foot to make this look great. Before we get started, I wanted to comment that oftentimes on my bags, I like to use polyester thread or multi-purpose thread instead of our cotton thread. One thing that I noted about cotton thread is oftentimes I have more jump stitches where the bobbin doesn't grab, and it seems to hold up a little bit better too, where my seams don't pop when I put heavy things in my bags and things like that. So that's the type of thread that I use. Let me drop it in here and we'll look at lining up our fabric. This is going to be the outside of the little tote that I'm going to make. Since that's the outside of the fabric, we consider that the right side of the fabric, just like this is the right side of the zipper. That way we can put right sides together when we sew, and the fabric and the zipper tape will be in the right direction when I'm done. Again, I have my zipper tab well outside my project, so I don't have to move it around inside my project. Most zipper tape has it so that you can sew about 1/4 inch in on the zipper tape. In the baby lock sewing machines, what I like to do with our J-foot is take and lay our fabric inside the foot and line up the edge of our project along the inside of the right edge of this foot. After we have our fabric lined up on this edge of our foot, we also need to move our needle all the way to the left-hand side. What this does for us is give us a good 1/4 inch here on our zipper tape, but it prevents the zipper teeth from being underneath my foot. Because oftentimes, if your zipper teeth are under your foot, it'll try to walk around because it's sliding on those teeth. So what we do is take and lay our fabric against the inside of this leg and then move our needle all the way to the left. On my Baby Lock Altair, all I need to do is select stitch 1, and that will move my stitch all the way to the left. I'm lined up here on the inside edge of the right metal piece on my J-foot, which is also your general purpose foot or multi-purpose foot, and I've moved my needle all the way over to the left. Now we're just going to sew a straight stitch all the way down. If you notice that your stitches are not grabbing in each stitch because your fabric is so thick, make sure that you adjust your stitch length to be a little bit longer. Most standard stitch lengths are 2.5, so you might need a 3 or a 3.5 to make it all the way through the thickness of your project. As I'm going down, I'm just making sure that the zipper tape and the fabric underneath it are staying in alignment and they're staying against the edge of that foot. And there we have our zipper tape attached to the fabric of our project. The other thing that we need to do is make sure and turn back the fabric on our project. So we're taking and actually turning it down and away from the zipper tape, and we're going to top stitch. If you've ever had a zipper that gets caught on the fabric, oftentimes it's because they didn't take the time to top stitch that fabric away from the zipper. So we're making sure that the fabric is pulled underneath the main body piece of your project, and we're going to stick that fabric back under our foot. Again, we're going to line up with the inside piece of our J-foot, but this time I'm going to move my needle back to center position. Now again, I'm just going to sew straight down the side of the zipper, this time making sure to curl under the back of this zipper and make sure the zipper tape is nice and flat. And we're going to just keep it in a straight line against the inside of my J-foot. Zippers are never a speed race. Make sure you're taking the time to smooth your fabric out and stay in alignment as you go down the side of your zipper tape. I've used a white thread so you can really see my top stitching on our project. If it was a bag that I was going to make for someone else or one that I'd want to keep for a while, I would probably make sure that my thread matched the fabric that I was going to be stitching on. That also hides some of the imperfections we have as newbies sewing zippers as well. On the back of the project, you can see that I've caught just the edge of that zipper tape and it's holding it down against the body of my project and preventing it from jumping up into the zipper teeth and causing us problems later. I'm going to go through that steps again so that you have a reference. We're going to add the other side of our project to the other side of our tape. And again, we want to make sure that we have the right side of our project up and our zipper tape right side up, and then we're going to flip them so we have right sides together. And this is my lining. You'll see your lining on both sides, and I have the right sides of my project touching, and I'm lined up against the top of that zipper. Also, we need to be careful that we're in alignment side to side. If we sew it so that it's like this, we've lost some of our project here. So we're lined up side to side. I'm making sure that I have the right sides of my project facing towards each other. And I'm lined up here at the top with our zipper tape. I'm going to put that under my needle. The first time we sew on the zipper tape, I'm on the inside of the metal piece on this foot and I'm moving my needle all the way over to the left. So we're going to use stitch 1 and move the needle all the way over to the left. And we're just going to sew right down the side of that. Then we're going to flip that back so that the zipper tape stays flat and we're folding that seam back away from our project. It's important that you make sure and have the seam over away from the zipper tape. On this side, I can use the other side of my foot. Again, we're going to move our needle back to center position, and from center position, it doesn't matter which side of the foot we line up against, we'll have the same distance, but I'll show you on this piece using the other side of my foot. Okay, so I'm going to go over and move my needle position back to center. This time I'm making sure that that fabric stays folded back towards the main part of my project, and I'm just going to stay straight on this side. Now we're ready to sew down the other seam. Again, we're taking it nice and slow, making sure that that fabric folds underneath the main body of our project, and that I'm staying in alignment down the side of that foot. There we have a nice flat zipper tape, and my seams here on the sides look nice and straight and professional. That's just another trick I have for you in installing zippers. Now, to finish up a project, I just wanted to leave you with a couple of little hints as well. When you are trimming up your project, make sure that you move your zipper tab back into your project before you trim even, or you've lost that zipper tab one more time. So I'm going to take and move my zipper tab somewhere in the middle. Okay, and then as long as it's laying kind of flat here on our table, we can take a rotary cutter and a ruler and just line it up and trim even. Notice how my zipper tab is getting under my ruler and it's making it really slick. I'm going to move it a little bit farther so that it's out of my way. This is a great way to also come in here and square up the whole project. It's a little long on this side, so I can trim it as well. Notice with our rotary cutter, we can go right over that zipper tape. Again, this is a nylon zipper, so it went right across it easily. When you move your zipper tab out of your way to trim up your other side, make sure that you don't run it off the end of this side. You can also take it back to your sewing machine and sew just here across the ends of both sides of these. That'll keep you from taking it all the way off in the middle of your project as well. There we have a zipper installed, and we're ready to use this as it is, as a little zipper tote, or I'm ready to add that to another bigger project. Hopefully you found a couple of those hints and tricks really helpful in your own installation of zippers, or maybe it inspired you to try something a little bit more detailed like one of the By Any projects. I hope that in all of it you learned something new. If you liked what you saw today, make sure you like and subscribe to our channel. And if you want to receive those notifications, make sure you click on the bell icon. Thanks for letting us turn your inspiration into a creation.